much right now.
We may not have him for a little bit. So that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, agree for 25 minutes.
We've been encouraged.
Yeah, times.
What time's your for?
10.
We're ready, we're live. Good morning. It's Feminine Institutions along with our house counterparts. And we are working on the conference committee bill. It is May 9th and welcome back. So where are we at?
Well, I'll pick up where we left off. And we do have a little change in terms of the reentry facility. We've agreed to this language for the reentry facility, if you remember yesterday for definition.
Yes.
We received an email last night from the CoC, but they had some issues a little bit with the definition and how it connects with this one statute, correctional facilities are defined. So we met with them this morning, and Damien did a revised definition, and it hasn't been totally finalized because there was a piece that was included that shouldn't be included. So we need to update that definition that we agreed to yesterday. Basically, it is taking out dormitory-like layout. It's clarifying the way we approved it yesterday. Provides the lowest level of security for incarcerated individuals.
Yeah.
What the new one would say is provide the lowest level of security within the existing secure correctional facilities. So it differentiates your regular incarcerated facilities that are holding sentence folks that may be medium security, close custody, from the reentry facility, which is a lower level of security in a reentry facility than what you would have in your regular, normal incarcerated facilities. There's that distinction.
Can we?
And we're gonna have language, it's just,
Yeah.
and we have new language here, it's just, it's including,
But did you say it's within another facility?
that's, when I read that, I'm thinking that's how it's gonna read, within the existing secure correctional facilities, and that, when I just read it, I was thinking the same thing, Senator, it's like, what does that mean within the current?
Well, what I'm thinking is what's the difference between that and the honors unit?
Yeah, I mean.
That's a policy decision. I don't know if it's appropriate.
Well, it's, you gotta work with the definition of correctional facility that's currently in statute.
Okay,
We're carving out a different definition, but if we say correctional facility or reentry facility, it's gonna conflict with the current definition of correctional facility,
right.
because it's the term facility. So we're trying to differentiate, and we have Isaac Dana, who we're
Did you
just
just left?
talking about the language, but
So that would be helpful to.
Isaac, I wonder if Isaac could come up.
Yes, please.
Isaac,
Please just identify you.
Yes.
you know, here's the language. but
Thank you.
Yeah.
we don't even know what happens.
No, we can share.
Yeah, if you wanna, take out on lines 12. Take out, after facilities, comma, take out, including additional commercial finishes and a open concept layout. Delete that, because that was put in there inadvertently. Right here.
Yeah, and I'm looking below that, just, I don't think he's.
I'm sorry, commercial finishes was put in?
No, we took that out.
We took that out. We want that out. That was in the previous definition. So on lines 12, after facilities, delete everything after.
I'm sorry, line 12 after facilities? Are we,
On line
do I have, is this?
No, you
No,
have to.
they're there.
Both of them around it?
Gotta share.
Okay, thank you.
Put this way.
You have to share. On line
So-
12, after facilities, you put a period there instead of a comma. And you take out, including additional commercial finishes and a open concept layout.
Is, all right,
We had dormitory style, and that was an issue with DOC.
right,
And what
So are you
happened,
including on lines 11 all the way through to the period as a
yes,
flexible design that's distinct from other existing secure correctional facilities?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
You have to compare it with what the previous step was, which I have, but it's all scribbled.
yeah, I just, a comment, I thought that the. Language that we had yesterday. Was. Really. Look forward thinking and. Really well described the kind of reentry facility and the type of facility that would be a reentry facility. And I was really encouraged to see that language. So. This is kind of a policy discussion, but it concerns me when we say. The lowest level of security within the existing secure correctional facilities. That sounds like the honors unit to me. So
Yeah, I mean-
can you speak to that?
Isaac, I think what, and I felt this way when I just read it, is it's within a current, it's kind of like it's within a existing
System.
facility. So I think we just have. Existing secure correctional, within the existing system.
Within the
Well-
existing, as compared to the existing secure correctional the thing is, this is still gonna be considered a correctional facility.
Right.
Sure.
Part of it.
It's distinctive, and given that, I think, and I'll let Isaac speak more to this about. We had set ourselves up to be in conflict with existing, how correctional facilities are currently defined. And we want to be very, very clear that a reentry facility is, I don't remember, do we have lowest in there or lower? Lowest, right?
We had lowest, we still kept lowest.
Yeah, we want to be clear that this is the lowest form of a correctional facility with
For
regard to security. And I asked the question, the same one you did, like, so tell me, and Isaac answered me, how does this compare to like an honors unit?
Right.
Right. Well, Senator, as you know from visiting CRCF, the honors unit is still within the secure portion of the
Right.
facility. So the reentry facility will be co-located with the secure portion of the new facility, but it'll either be a separate building or attached. I defer to my BGS counterparts on what that design, it's still evolution will look like, but this will be a separate facility. Folks will come and go during the day for employment. So this will be a lower security level than the honors unit. The honors unit would be a higher security.
When you say co-located, will it be within the barriers? The facility in Maine,
Right.
is
It'll
it
look
completely different?
right. It'll look similar to the facility. Man, it'll be
I'm not talking
is
about the
just
looking,
down
I'm talking
the road.
about the functioning.
Yes.
Will, the way you're explaining it, it sounds as if you could build a separate building that would not operate like the one in Maine. People would not be able to come and go.
That are intended to operate like the one in Maine.
Yes.
I believe.
So
So,
then
for the
why do
record,
we
my name
need to
is
say this?
Jennifer Finch, BGS Commissioner. So we've done a bunch of concept layouts and those include having a separate facility. Meaning you have your core for correctional and reentries off to the side. That is the current concept at the moment. So they're not together. They're separate, but they're on the same site.
How do you get into the reentry facility?
That would be a DOC question.
Yeah, we're currently designing the reentry criteria with our women's facility stakeholder group. That's still in development, but we do have some draft criteria. I think that
Okay, this limits it to being physically within the existing secure correctional facility.
Well, it has to say that because they're still in corrections, they're still within facility, they're still within the grasp of corrections.
It's.
Correctional.
They're
that's
still
not how
under,
the main one.
but they're still under the
Correct.
care of corrections.
I think the language here.
I think what Senator Harrison was saying is absolutely correct. And I paused when I read this on line 9. What it says is that there is an existing secure correctional facility, and within that particular facility as a wing would be the lowest level of security, which is a reentry, which is not what we intend.
Right,
Yes.
So why can't we say-
Senator Harrison?
Right, we're trying to compare whatever gets developed as a reentry facility against the current correctional system. That's what
Right.
we're trying to do.
But it's
And it doesn't,
something,
I agree with you, it doesn't read that way.
But I just want to emphasize, right, your programming space is gonna be the most expensive space to build, right? So they are intending for the reentry population to use some of that programming space. That programming space, because it serves all of the other incarcerated individuals, is secure. So when they're in reentry, they're out on their own, they're not in a fence, they're in a building they can walk in and out of during the day. But there may be a time where they go into the programming space, and because that programming space is used by multiple populations, that programming space is just naturally secure because it has to be.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That's the point I'm trying to.
I can see why the department would want to co-locate, and I'm completely supportive of everyone getting programming. There's not enough programming now, so I think that's good. And I can see why, from a financial, reason you'd want to do that. But if we define it as within, I don't see why we can't just say provides the lowest level of security, period.
As long as it's not confusing that in the future, the intention is, again, from a cost-effective standpoint, there may be times where they're in that programming space.
Fine, that's where
I just want to make sure that that
that's
doesn't
your intent.
limit that.
Our intent as the policy folks is to, or at least my intent is to have the lowest level of security.
Right.
And, okay, can I
That's
just
where they're staying.
and the lowest level which we don't have now. We don't have a facility like this now. So I would see it as the lowest level of security, period. I mean, you could say within the system, but everything's within the system. I don't see why we need.
Can we regroup with our legislative council? The issue here is the word within. I
Yes,
think also we have to be very clear, we made the decision yesterday that this definition of reentry facility would apply to both a woman's reentry facility and a male reentry facility. We have no clue if we do a reentry facility for the males, if that's gonna be on separate campuses, if it's gonna be on the same campus. So we have to be very careful with the language in terms of how we compare it to the current definition of corrections facility. We're talking about the secure level. The level of security. We don't care if it's within a current facility or if it's separate. It's the definition of the level of security that is provided. Correct?
Correct, and I was just saying, Senator Harrison, you're right, that we don't have this system currently in place. You know, this reentry facility would be a real paradigm shift for the department. We're very excited about that. It would be a Scandinavian style facility. But you're right that it's kind of a new, avenue for us as the department in this state.
right, so let's just say.
So I think we
provides
need
the
a point
lowest
on
level of
language. Let's
security.
do exactly
Okay.
what Chair Evans has said. Let's turn it back over to them. They'll sit with legislative council. They'll bring complete language back to us, and then we can take this up again.
So the other thing too with the, while we're talking about the reentry, and this is the reentry study for the men. There was a request from BGS that report come back by mid-March. And right now it is earlier than that, correct?
I think
No,
it's later than that.
It's in
Right.
December.
Yeah, and you asked her earlier.
Right, and the question right now, that's sort of, I wanna leave that. Conversations I had with BGS is there's two pieces playing here in terms of feasibility study for BGS. There is the reentry feasibility study for males. And then there's forensic,
Right.
okay? BGS cannot do both.
Right, and the forensic, so I'm gonna put the point out here right now. The line in the sand is a forensic study. We are gonna have a bill, it's going to include forensic, it's going to be passed, we're gonna have it. And that is the Senate's priority, is the forensic study. Absolutely, positively, that is a sticking point, it's not going away.
I haven't finished, so.
Well, I wanna.
So for if they're to do both studies, the forensic as well as the male reentry, they need some money to do this. What is at play right now is that's 192. That bill could die. There could end up being no agreement between the House and Senate versions because they're very different. We don't know how that's going to end up. If it dies, we do not need to do a forensic feasibility study because there's no movement on it, because policy bill died. If the policy bill survives, but it's structured differently. We don't know what that structure is. Then we need the language possible. The issue is both studies for BGS to be done, they need some money for that. And that's what we're looking at.
So,
And if the forensic unit, if S 192 dies, then they only have the feasibility study to do for mail entry, and we can bump up that date. So that's moving pieces right now.
so I've been assured by the chair, working on that bill, that they're going to have language in there and it's gonna pass. And the way that we've structured it is the BGS has said that they had the money to do one study. That would be the forensic study, and then we pushed out the dates on the reentry facility study to include dollars within next year's capital bill. That's so we don't need money. We have what we have. It's there. Language was worked out. It was agreed to. It's what we passed in the Senate. And we're not, this capital bill for the top senators in the Senate and all of the senators have felt strongly about passing language for their reentry program, and it's just something that's a non-starter with us. The language has to be in the capital bill. It has to be in a way that we are very, very, very well aware that we're going to move forward.
I'm waiting for the results of S 192. I'm waiting for the
Well,
results.
the
of
chair,
those-
the chair,
those negotiations.
Chair Lyons has said that regardless of where that bill is, that she's going to put forensic language in something. So she's going to pass.
Whenever that occurs, I'm holding out on the forensic unit until that is resolved.
Then I
in the
guess,
House and Senate.
that probably, we're gonna have to move on. We won't pass a capital bill this year. That is just the way it is. So,
We can walk away pretty easy.
okay, then we can do that.
It is on the notice. Yeah.
So we have a few more minutes. There's some other issues that are, outstanding. Damien, we need to work with you. We're still working on the naming committee and we're still working on the Windsor. We're working on that. We are still looking for the Salisbury language, where we know the administration wants to close Salisbury. We're working on that. We're looking for 30,000 for the Derby, which we're really having some issues with. So that's where we're at right now. We're also, I remember Scott. I asked Scott to do some research because there's a lot of dams out there, a lot of dam bills. The bills that deal with dams. Dams. There's a revolving loan fund, there's a lot of different structures, so I just wanted to get a picture of how much money is moving out there for the issue of dams. So Scott,
Good morning, sure.
want to switch spots?
I think the camera can see.
Okay,
Good morning, Scott Moore, Joint Fiscal Office. As Madam Chair mentioned yesterday, I did some quick research into money that was out there for dams. The Department of Environmental Conservation had come in to testify, and one of their testimonies, they had mentioned that they had been appropriated $3.1 million for dam safety in FY '23. Plus the $500,000 that was in bonded money in FY '24. And then along the way, there was also $3 million, I believe, in the budget for the dam safety revolving fund. And then the department had mentioned that they had approximately $1.2 million that was not obligated for or going to be used by the end of FY '25. So $1.2 million they didn't currently have a spot for.
so there is, just trying to, there's two pots of $3 million.
Correct, yes.
So one of those pots is 3 million plus from where? Capital bill?
Yes, FY '23 capital bill.
And where's the other 3 million?
The other $3 million will be coming from, I believe, the transfer money from the general fund. I have to look at the budget. That other $3 million will be appropriated in the budget.
So is that additional 3 million, can that be used for the same dams that are under DEC, that the 3.1 million of the previous capital bill covered?
I'd have to look at the language. I know there was some definitions as to federal dams versus state dams. I have to go double check what that language was. I believe it was for federal dams, and not state dams, but I would want to just refresh the memory.
We could clarify that, because the 3.1 from FY
23,
23 capital bill is for our DEC dams.
correct.
And then there's 500 in FY 24 on top of the 3.1
For total 3.6 and
for 3.6. And then how much of that would not be committed by the end of FY 25?
1.2,
So they'd still have 1.2 million in the bank,
correct.
uncommitted.
That's what my research showed. Now, I don't know what they did today, this morning, but
So we're at. So we need to do some work with Damien in terms of cleaning up the reentry language,
Yeah.
trying to clarify that. We've got, language we're gonna propose with naming committee and Wednesday.
Yeah.
So where we're at. Or do you want to meet again?
Oh, we gotta see when we're gonna be out before, we'll send a note out.
I think
We'll send that,
12:30 may work again, you know?
yeah, well,
First for us,
so,
we can meet anytime.
so we can say 12:30.
And I'd like to be
Then-
present for that as well, so someone let me
So
know.
we're
that'd be
planning
great.
12:30, depending on what the pro tem says, as far as our schedule on the floor.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.